Hey, what's going on, everybody? So here's a trumpet thought that I've been working on for the last couple of weeks, and it's something that I've kind of dealt with for a while, and I've been trying to figure this thing out, but I think I kind of made a breakthrough, so I'm going to share this with you today. So you know, a lot of times when you're getting started, you're doing your first playing for the day. Do you ever get that feeling where it just feels like your face just feels kind of flat, like your chops just aren't quite pumped up, and like everything, all of the octaves seem super far apart. Everything just seems like you're playing on muscles that aren't activated yet. I know that's part of the warm up process and everything, but if you're like me, A, I don't like that feeling right off the bat, and B, sometimes I just don't have time to do a lengthy warm up. A, I don't really like doing a lengthy warm up anyway. I'm just too impatient, I guess. So don't really care to do a long drawn out warm up. But also, I find that with this little adjustment, I don't need as much of a warm up. And so what I do, and of course, my playing is going to be slightly different than yours because I'm using all this TC stuff. But I do think this kind of works either way. But what I do is I control the amount of lip intrusion that I have into the mouthpiece cup. Okay, so if we think about it, we kind of have our lips together here. So when I'm first starting out, and if I pick it up and I put it on my face, and I can feel everything just feels like my face just feels a little flat, like it's not quite warmed up, and the mouthpiece feels bigger, like everything just sort of feels more difficult. I just kind of allow a little more lip intrusion to get inside that cup. And that basically has the effect of shallowing the cup. And it then makes it easier to kind of play whatever that I want to play with less warm-up. And then as I play more and more and more, then I find that everything here starts to kind of fill up with, it gets blood and oxygen, and starts to kind of fill up and frankly swell up just a little bit. Not swelling in a damaged or hurtful way, just swelling up from the activity and the muscle being activated and all that kind of stuff. Just like you think about the way a bodybuilder, after they kind of pumped up, that their body's kind of pumped up. When they first started, have you ever seen a bodybuilder when they haven't activated all those muscles, they don't look as ripped and shredded and stuff like that. But once they start to lift and stuff, then they kind of get that swole feeling, So it's kind of the same thing with your chops here. And as that starts to kind of swell, then I just start to reduce the amount of lip intrusion that's into that cup. So I start to bring that back. And it's primarily the top lip that we really have to be focused on. Bottom lip, not so much. We're thinking the bottom lip essentially kind of works like a mouthpiece facing on a woodwind instrument, a clarinet or saxophone, something like that. And the top lip's just kind of going over the top of it, kind of rolling out, rolling in, rolling out, just like that. That's essentially the adjustment. So when I feel like everything here is kind of flat, not pumped up, whatever, then I'm getting a little bit more of that top lip intruding into the cup to kind of fill some of that space, fill everything up. And then as everything starts to swell up, then I'm pulling it back as needed. This is really handy as well then when I start to get into where I'm starting to play heavy. I just played this gig with 7D Funk, which is a local funk band, and it's an outdoor gig for a big outdoor concert, and 2 hours, no breaks. And historically on stuff like that, I would really struggle because as I cross over to that second hour, my chops start to swell up, and I'm having a hard time getting things to respond. But because I'd kind of had this epiphany the days before that, I thought, well, okay, as they start to swell, I'll just pull that top lip kind of back a little bit so that I'm getting less and less cup intrusion with my lip, and see if that works. And sure enough, it definitely worked. So try it out for yourself. So a little more lip intrusion as you start. And then, of course, I haven't played or warmed up at all, so I can't really, if I demonstrate it now, I'll have a little less lip intrusion. But my lip, I can pull that back. You'll also notice you can kind of do that to also control the warmth of the sound. So when you have a little bit more lip intrusion, you can get gets a little bit fatter, warmer sound. Pull it back, there's a little bit more brilliance and brightness. Incidentally, this is also essentially how one plays deep mouthpieces and shallow mouthpieces. So if you're, well, that almost might be the better topic for this. But if you've ever met someone who can like only play deep mouthpieces and they try to play a shallow mouthpiece, they say they bottom out. That's exactly what's going on there. They are using that their top lip to intrude deep into the mouthpiece cup, effectively shallowing out the mouthpiece cup. Also, if you have someone who talks about how they can't play big equipment or whatever, that's because probably they've gotten so good at keeping their lips from intruding into the mouthpiece that all they need to do is release a little bit into there to kind of help that happen. So if you're someone who's traditionally played like a larger mouthpiece, deeper mouthpiece, and every time you try to get a commercial mouthpiece, you just feel like it bottoms out, doesn't sound right, you have a hard time with it, really work on trying to withhold the amount of that lip intrusion. You're kind of like pulling that back. For me, I'm pulling it back again, really against my tongue, the top of my tongue, because I'm doing the TCE thing. Everybody else, they'd be kind of doing it against like their airstream and their top teeth. So anyway, try that out and let me know if that works for you. I'd love to hear your comments or I'd love to read your comments in the comment section. Yes, that's what we'd like to do. All right, cool. Take care, friends.